What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ross, I like games, and today we are looking at a couple of Dragon Ball Super cards, Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, and the Legendary Flute, one of which has been restricted, the other one of which hasn't actually been touched. Now, to go back a little bit, there was a post on the official Dragon Ball Super website about Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, and it said, currently the general usefulness of Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku's effect has led to it being used in many decks. Following its release in Series 3, its inclusion rate has exceeded expectations, and it appears that this will only continue in the post-Season 4 environment. The card's strengths include being able to play many cards, awaken, draw cards, and repeatedly attack during the early game, but we expect many decks will be able to counter it in the Series 4 meta. Though we're not concerned about the environment stagnating, it's possible Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku will cause a dangerous overall acceleration of the game. As such, we're currently placing it on the watch list, and it meant exactly that. They were watching it, they were looking at it, they were trying to decide how good it actually was. Now, as a reminder, it is a blue leader card, and pre-awakening, there's a permanent skill saying you can only place up to 6 energy. That in itself sounds bad, but of course, there's a payoff here. Because its main skill, place 1 card from your hand in the drop area. If you have no energy, choose 2 cards in your life and add them to your energy. And then when your life is at 4 or less, you may draw 2 cards and flip this card over. That meant that you could get energy out way faster than the vast majority of other leaders while getting you closer to awakening. And then once you had awakened, okay, you can still only place up to 6 energy, but at the end of your turn, choose up to 3 of your energy and switch them to active mode, so you can get your energy out much faster than you could with other leaders. And then you use your turn, and most of the time when you're playing a deck, you have to decide whether you're going to use the energy on your turn, or save it to play counter cards or combo etc. on your opponent's turn. But this Goku here didn't give you that choice, because it just got 3 of your energy active, so you could use them all during your turn, then make them active again going into your opponent's turn. It gave you options and speed that other decks just didn't have. And it was played a lot. In fact, according to the lovely folks over at DBSDecks.com, it currently makes up 47.52% of the meta. Compare that to the next highest, Errata, who is taking up 25.74% of the meta, and then Trunks is the only other leader that's making up over 5% of the meta. To put it simply, ladies and gentlemen, it is not only the best deck, but the best deck by quite some margin, with almost double the metagame share of the next most popular deck. So they're looking at it, and it's clearly a deck which is taking over and shaping the metagame. You might expect it to be banned, but the announcement has come today direct from Bandai over on the official website that it is not being banned or errated. Here's what they said. Heightened Evolution Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku has been included in around 50% of decks. Well, we knew that, I just showed you the figures, including the dominant Tier 1 decks. However, not all of the tournament-winning decks included the card in question. As a result, we've decided not to ban or restrict the card, or issue any errata to the card. We're also removing it from the watch list. So they're not banning it, they're not errataing it, and in fact, they're saying it's fine, we're not watching it anymore, deal with it. And they give 3 reasons why it's not an issue. Number 1, though the card is extremely powerful and used in many decks, the card itself is not powerful on its own and merely falls into the same category as other easy-to-use useful cards. Secondly, meta cards like EX0327 Forced Ejection Mass Saiyan from the Ultimate box will only become more plentiful going forward, resulting in an environment where the card is easy to counter. And issuing errata or restricting or banning it will cause Tier 2 decks like Errata to take its place. The fundamental issue will remain. Which is interesting, of course. It's currently got 25% of the metagame, and maybe it will end up just taking its place, and then that's 50% of the metagame, and we're right back to where we started. However, there are clearly a few deck types more capable of winning than others. We feel it necessary to promote the number of deck types capable of performing. We've concluded that the backbone of these more powerful decks is the Legendary Flute. More on that in just a second. I just wanted to give a quick note about Force Ejection Mass Saiyan, just for those of you that can't quite remember what it does. It's got an activate main once per turn as a free cost with Overwhelm, which is quite nice. If you've placed a card in your energy area during your charge phase this turn, which you pretty much always will have, and you have less energy than your opponent, which against Super Saiyan 3 you almost certainly will have, choose one of your opponent's energy and send it to their warp. So this is a card which is quite easy to include in decks. The Overwhelm mechanic and the fact that it is a black card means that you don't need to worry too much about the energy cost, means that you can use this to counter these Super Saiyan 3 decks by getting rid of their energy, taking away their advantage. So apparently there's other decks, other cards which can counter it, and if you take it away, Hirudegarn will just end up being better anyway. I mean, that's my deck of choice, so, you know, maybe that's a good thing. But apparently the Legendary Flute does not fall into that same category. The Legendary Flute is going away. Now, the Legendary Flute is a blue extra card. We did do a video about it when it was released. I'll link it in the description. And it's a free card. You don't have to pay any energy to play it. If your leader card is blue, choose up to one of you or your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and return it to the owner's hand. If that card was your own battle card, draw 1 card. And then, of course, this could be used to disrupt your opponent or to reuse cards like Boost Attack Piccolo, which is limited to 4 in your deck because it's really good, and now we're getting a free cost card that can reuse it. Yeah, that was pretty good. So, that is going away now. Oh, it's not going away! It's just been limited to 1 copy in your deck. You can still play it, but it has been limited to a single copy in your deck. Here's what it says. We have made the decision to restrict the number of copies of the Legendary Flute players can include to 1 per deck, and that is deck and side deck combined. We don't believe the card's effect is dangerous enough to warrant issuing a errata or banning the card. The issue as we see it is the number of copies players can include in decks. By changing the number of times players can use this card and at what time, we think the card will arrive at the power level we originally anticipated. Our hope is that limiting the card to 1 copy per deck will also result in more decks using non-blue leader cards. Additionally, by weakening the aggro decks currently dominating the environment and allowing room for more mid-range decks, we expect games to last longer, leading to more decks capable of competing at a tournament level. We know many of you have enjoyed using the card and we want to apologise. The decision is intended purely to create a better overall game environment, and we ask for your understanding at the time. Regardless of whether you agree with this decision or not, and I know a lot of people don't, especially the not banning Super Saiyan 3, you've got to at least give a bit of props to a game which is making the effort to try and make the competitive environment a little bit better. So why has this been restricted and not Super Saiyan 3? The thing is, there's other blue leaders that can take advantage of this. So Trunks, for instance, is a deck with a blue leader, and the thing is, Trunks can make really good use of this. So Trunks allows you once per turn, you can combo with a card that has an energy cost of 2 or more, and you get to draw a card. And then after Awakening, when you combo with a card that has an energy of 2 or more, you draw a card. Then, of course, you're using the Flute, and you're drawing cards while doing so, and you just end up with a deck which is drawing a lot of cards, being very, very aggro. And if you look at lists for these trunk decks, you inevitably find that they're playing 4 copies of the Legendary Flute. And why would they not be? The card is very, very good indeed. So it turns out we can only have 1 of those in our decks from now on, and Super Saiyan 3 is absolutely fine. I agree with the fact that you take away Super Saiyan 3 and Hirudegarn and other leaders will just rise to take their place. Maybe it's an inevitability in games like this, that there will always be 1 or 2 leaders taking up a large share of the metagame, and that all you can do is try and make sure the decks aren't unfair, rather than trying to make sure they're not good. I don't know is the honest answer, ladies and gentlemen, but at least We're having open communication where Bandai is saying this is what we've done and this is why we've done it. But if you agree or disagree with either of these decisions, hey, there's a comment section, so go nuts. But remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Do be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. And of course, do make sure that you are subscribed, because the Dragon Ball videos are going to be becoming more and more regular, so make sure that you don't miss out. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.